On Brexit,
in that.
So Theresa May was waving, victory signs and so on. It really comes down to the minutiae now of what she believes she has got in terms of concessions. From your reading of the situation, is this enough?
Original?
This is what we were. Sorry, this is what we were given last night.
Right.
So this is one of them. There's about 4 different documents. Yeah. This is the latest document, and inside here is another paper which.
And is your early sense that she's got enough or not?
It's very difficult to say. We got this late last night, and I really genuinely would like to support, if at all feasible, what we're trying to do. Is I want to get what the public want, which is they voted to leave. Let's get on with it. I accept that. And your point earlier, which is lots and lots of people, whether they vote Remain or leave, do want to get on with it. We know that. So the question really is, does this protect enough of the concerns about being locked into a process, not just being locked into the backstop? The problem has always been, when you go to the next phase, who holds all the cards about where your future relationship is? If the backstop exists as it does at the moment, there's no way out. The EU holds all the cards.
They can keep us in a permanent customs union, and we can't negotiate.
They can negotiate, exactly right. So
trade
it's the
deals
key
with other
question to balance, and this is the question I'm asking. There's one element I think it boils down to, which is this right of the UK unilaterally to say enough's enough, we're going. Is that actually just a triggering of existing mechanisms, or is it actually an absolute right to leave?
The way the EU are talking, they don't think they've made any seismic concessions.
That's what I'm listening.
They think they've just basically ratified earlier stuff they've already been saying.
Well, if you look at what the Irish government has said, it's said that, look, this doesn't change really anything.
Right.
It's a clarification, but it doesn't change anything. And remember, the political declaration isn't legally binding. But my issue is not only are there concerns around the operation of the backstop, but this so-called deal is not actually a deal. We are still essentially paying a divorce bill of over £50 billion, and we are not getting any certainty around the future trading relationship in return.
That's absolutely right, though, isn't it?
And to the extent it does say anything about the future trading relationship,
I don't disagree with Chuka at all.
It doesn't cover services, which is 80% of the economy.
Well, because all of that, this is the whole point, all of that has to be decided after we officially leave and then stay in for this implementation period. So you have to leave a lot on trust to the government and others that they will deliver in the next year and a half to 2 years as settlement.
Do you trust
because otherwise
the government?
you're paid. Well, I want to trust the government. There's always been my great concern. I'd like to trust, even when Labour were in power and they were taking big decisions, I've always said I want to trust them on the big decisions because they're the government, they're elected.
Do you trust the Prime Minister, this Prime Minister, to negotiate a trade deal, considering what she's done with the
These are all the considerations that enough of my colleagues and I...
She's not going to be there.
Well, we keep saying that. We've been saying that for 2 years.
Look, she's locked in
she's the great survivor.
She's locked in to the end of this year, and we were on the programme with you when she announced that there was going to be this vote of confidence in her by her party, and she won it. But it's very clear that Iain and the crew are going to get rid of her. And not only will she be gone, there will be a new EU Commission President.
I don't think it is that clear.
There will be a new EU Council President, and there will be a new European Parliament. So the whole cast of characters who are making all these guarantees, saying all these things now, these people ain't going to be there.
Iain Duncan Smith, here's the reality. And you've been Tory party leader. I think if you're Theresa May and you somehow, miraculously get your deal through, that's a triumphant moment for you, right? And if she does that, why would she pack it in? Why wouldn't she just soldier on? Well, and if you're the incumbent Prime Minister, what is the mechanism for the Conservative Party to unseat her anyway?
He wants to get rid of her.
First of all, there is no mechanism to unseat her because...
So she wants to carry on.
The party had a vote on her last year. Actually, not quite as many votes as the Labour Party's had on Jeremy Corbyn, but they had one vote. And that means for at least 12 months, there can be no change.
Right.
So into the autumn is the earliest if the party wanted to say it's time.
But she would be strengthened and emboldened, indisputably, if she managed to get her deal over the line, wouldn't she?
Yeah, well, I guess so. That's exactly how she and others will take it. I'm not really focused on whether she leads or not after this agreement.
If you have you had any discussions? Hang on, have you had any discussions behind the scenes? Have you had any discussions behind the scenes where people have said we will vote for your deal and allow you to have your triumphant moment, but you will have to step down afterwards?
I have not, and I don't know of anybody who's directly had that. I have read in the papers that some people have said that, but you're not looking at the right man.
Do you think she should stay in place to the end of the year?
Well, I think there's a fact that she is going to stay in place to the end of the year, so what I think about this is pretty irrelevant, really.
No, but she can be removed. You can have another vote of no confidence.
You can't offer it, you can't anyway.
At the end of the year.
At the end of the year, yeah.
So
we'll
will you give her confidence at the end of the year?
Well, it depends how she's performed. If she's still there, like everything else, you take a view on that at the time. My simple point is, I was concerned about the run to this agreement because I felt like they had given away far too much. Some of the points that you made us earlier on about 39+ billion, it's actually over 50 billion, you're quite correct. All those things that we've locked into make me very worried about where we go next.
Are you going to vote tonight for this deal?
It wholly hinges on whether the assurances they've given about our ability to leave the backstop and thus reduce the EU's ability to negotiate, that is absolutely critical, because if that hasn't changed, then I think, frankly, we've got a team of legal eagles at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they'll have a better idea when they've read it all.
Looking at that, and this happened late last night.
On this idea of a second referendum, that seems to be drifting away now as a viable, realistic scenario. Do you accept that?
I think if we're in a situation where an extension hasn't been granted because the European Union doesn't know why we want an extension to Article 50 and they need a reason to stop us from falling off the cliff and going down the no-deal avenue, then I believe we could probably command the numbers in that emergency situation in the House of Commons. I'm not going to be disingenuous now, though, and say that we've got the numbers, but I don't think it is completely not an option, because everybody knows it's kind of there as a backstop against falling out of the EU without a deal.
I would say, if I was a betting man, I'd say the chances of Theresa May's deal getting through as being the likely result of all this have dramatically increased in the last 24 hours.
Well, no one.
The mood appears to be.
Well, the DUP are the key on this.
Yeah.
If the DUP extends,
DUP come in behind
your star chamber of legal.
No. The DUP are part of that star chamber.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Yes.
So they're looking at it.
The DUP say they are satisfied with the concessions she appears to or claims she has got. I think that she's home and dry on her deal.
That may well be the case, but they have to be satisfied. This is the key point. And by the way, on the referendum, I've spoken to enough Labour MPs. They will not vote for a second referendum.
Yeah.
So this is where I think...
Yeah, I think it's gone.
Not ever, but currently there aren't the numbers. I accept that.
All right.
OK,
Chuka,
well, good to see you both.
Yes, nice to see you. Thank you very much indeed.